And let me share my sort of maybe personal story and both story of our collaboration with Marilyn and other wonderful people. My topic for now, for this part of our presentation, is called The Inner Key to Your City. And so let me maybe first of all introduce myself, and this would be sort of a part of explanation what I mean speaking about inner key. So my name is Marina Demchenko. I am originally Russian, and just listening to previous speakers and the connectedness to the land and understanding of our identity in connection of our birthplaces and cultures which nurtured you. I defined myself as an earthling with Slavic roots because I really understand and perceive myself as a human being living on Gaia, on planet Earth, but I can't deny the huge contribution of the Slavic country, or the Slavic culture, their folklore, their fairy tales, their values which are provided by Eastern European countries, by Russia, by Ukraine, because I was born and I grew up on the border of two countries, and I can't really sort of divide myself between those two countries, and lots of my time and connections in youth are connected to both of these countries. So speaking about my professional work and experience, I'm PhD in economics. I had several rather big presentations, including TEDx conference about happiness, well-being, interconnectedness, and understanding of a person as a part of a big living organism called Gaia or planet Earth. And it's also important to say that I was the first ever advisor to the mayor of the city of Zverevo, the small mining town on the border of Russia and Ukraine before the pandemic. And it was very important to help this city to thrive and to pass through a very difficult period of development with the lack of budget, with very obsolete infrastructure, with lots of problems with the previous mayor, with politics, with lack of hope of those people. And the main intention of those citizens was just to leave this small city and to find better place to live and to work. And at this period of time, in 2019 and 2020, I was invited as an advisor by the new mayor of the city. And my task was sort of presented as to find the measurement tool of how to engage people into the city development and how to assess their level of contentment and their level of engagement to the city development, how to understand that people understand what the local administration does, and whether they want or not to help their local authorities to make their city thrivable and prosperous, happy, and doing and being well. So that's how the idea of the inner key diagnostic methodology appeared. And I would like to share with you this methodological tool, which started its development in 2020. And by this time, we had conducted the survey in several cities But let me tell everything in an order. So we present inner key as an MRI, like a multidimensional dimensional analysis. So it's really important that we sort of scan the perceptions of people on the territory, their subjective judgments, their understanding of what is happening, because the perceptions of people really predetermine their decisions, their daily behavior, their important actions, and not only voting or just protesting, but also it's about whether to stay living in the city or just to leave it for the in order to find better life. So this inner key instrument identifies, and as I already mentioned, helps to measure the quality of life through the perception of these people who take part in this survey, the sustainability of the city development and the development of the individual in this city, the level of well-being, the happiness, and what is most maybe new and innovative in this is we also are trying to measure the proactive engagement of people, understanding not only their level of satisfaction or contentment, but also through their understanding of the level of their contribution and their being ready to do something by themselves in order to improve their lives in this particular territory. And we use 129, 22 and 92 parameters and 24 spheres of human life. And we can make the branch analysis of different aspects on individual, organizational, community, and territorial level. So be it a region, a city, a small village, a community, an organization. Again, we also conducted these surveys in not-for-profit organizations, in corporate organizations, big corporate companies, and also we use this inner key developmental and diagnostic tool in the work with individuals. First of all, with leaders and other people who really want to better understand their development and the potential for their development and the directions of their development. So the main purpose of this tool is to find not only just to assess or just to measure, but to find small leverage points of development which show the potential of growth, regeneration, improvement, predict their future development of the human system, social system, anticipate risks, and to provide, we call it acupuncture stimulation, so small and very gentle and not so expensive, which is really important usually, small interventions to trigger a cascade of positive changes throughout the whole system. And speaking about the format, as I already mentioned, we devised this tool before and during the pandemics. So this diagnostic tool is fully automated and it is conducted online. So we obtain the data, we create various forms, graphs, charts, which give us the opportunity to provide their expert interpretation and recommendations of the results, of this survey. Also, if we are talking about the individual interview, we can give the personalized information in order to interpret to a person all the sort of aspects of the development. And if we are conducting collective surveys, and we conducted surveys for several thousands of respondents, it is completely anonymous. People can share their emails if they want to receive the results of the survey individually through their email, but otherwise, we can provide their results in a generalized form without any personal information, and so the respondent can stay anonymous and share their real perceptions and real judgments about the city. So speaking about target audiences, I already mentioned that it is individuals. We also worked with youth organizations, so young leaders, with people who are interested in personal development as a part of the coaching or psychotherapy programs, and of course with leaders of different teams, organizations and communities. Speaking about organizations, social, corporate organizations, local authorities, despite of any sort of type and scale, we can provide the information about the state of affairs in teams, communities, and organizations. Speaking about territorial development, we have been working with villages, cities, with regions, some parts of the regions, and we have a capacity of working with the whole countries and provide this as a way, as a sort of index of their not only happiness and well-being, but also the sustainability of the development of their human systems of different scales and types. So speaking about outcomes and measurement tools, it's really important, and then I will go maybe in details how it works. So Inner Key helps to measure and predict future development towards sustainability, proactive engagement, happiness, well-being of people engaged in complex human systems of different types, be it residents, employees in the organization, community members, individuals. We find, as I already mentioned, leverage points, and we can help to achieve the aspired state of development in the city, for example, or in the organization, because we are looking at different aspects of social development. On the individual level, it is about human values, behavioral attitudes, social convictions and judgments and common traditions, because we have been working in different in different societies with different culture, and it's really important to have this sort of personalized approach to different territories and different cultures and the different areas. We also look at the coherence of development on individual, corporate, organizational, and local level in terms of culture, because it's really important when we see these dissonances and how we can sort of tackle with them and overcome these discrepancies in their cultural perceptions or maybe values and judgments on different levels of development, on different levels of social structures. We also look at social-cultural identity of residents, and it's really important in multinational organizations or territories. It is really important in work with refugees and people who relocated from different countries. And we also can assess the correlation of sustainable development and individual well-being, happiness, and proactive engagement, because where we can see discrepancies, we also can see and anticipate the risks of some social problems which could appear. And again, this diagnostic tool can help us understand what are the causes and what can be done, and what are these acupuncture treatment which can help us to avoid some problems in social, intra-organizational or interpersonal communication and development. So in LCE, we are going to implement this diagnostic tool to assess and help to assess the level of development in the cities, and help mayors and city administrations, various local communities and citizens associations in many countries. So we have this diagnostic tool. It was initially created in Russian, and now it is already conducted in English. So we have two languages so far. We can help small organizations and global corporate organizations and individuals to make their development process inspiring, easy, manageable, and, as I already mentioned, predictable. And we also are working with Marilyn Hamilton and other colleagues in Living Cities Earth in order to connect Inner Key framework with other frameworks which are represented in LCE by our co-founders and institutional partners. So speaking very shortly about the methodological base, I used various approaches of vertical and integral development, which were devised by the acknowledged scientists in 20th and 21st century, but we also based on the sort of ancient Greece great people such as Aristotle, Aristippus, Epicurus, and also we looked at the renowned psychologists such as Martin Seligman and sort of Western spiritual leaders such as His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And it's really important for us to connect and to approach integrally to the individual development and happiness, not only from the Western, but also from Eastern and maybe global, first of all, perspective. So speaking about the basic concepts, I also mentioned that we have these 24 core parameters. The innovation of this approach is also that when I studied all the indices which we had on the global level, which can assess the level of happiness and well-being and contentment in their cities, countries, and organizations, I realized that most of them are based on this sort of happiness of consumption, which is about measuring the level of statement or objective satisfaction of people with their circumstances, with the opportunities which are created for them by someone, by the government, by the mayor, or something like that. It was really important, as I already mentioned, when we started creating this tool, also to use at the happiness of creation and care. We are happy not only when we consume something which is created for us by someone, but also it's even more important for us to realize ourselves. That's precisely about which the highest virtues about Aristotle told us. It is about the eudaimonic approach, which was provided by Aristotle. It is about the happiness when you create and co-create and care for someone and develop your virtues. So we combine these two approaches, so hedonic happiness of consumption, because speaking about Maslow's pyramid, we really need to satisfy our basic needs and higher needs in self-realization as well, but it's also really important for us to find this sort of place of inspiration and proactivity, which is provided by the happiness of creation and care. So in this sort of dualistic approach, our inner key diagnostic tool is based. We also use the, as I already mentioned, the levels of vertical development. Here I presented the spiral dynamics approach, but we also used the approaches of Robert Kegan and Susan Kugreuter and Ken Wilber and other renowned contemporary scientists who were working on these vertical stages of vertical development. So we base our approach on 8 fundamental cultural and value concepts, which develop one after another in some specific sequence. And it's really important because sometimes we can find some gaps in this development. And speaking about the prediction of the development and anticipating of risks, it is usually connected with some shadow aspects of development on some stages on the cultural and value, on the stages of cultural and value development. So we synthesize these approaches and use them in order to anticipate development on 3 layers: individual, organizational, and societal, according to 24 different parameters. And this is how the framework looks like. So we have 3 levels: individual, organizational, and societal, 4 quadrants, speaking about internal, external, individual, and collective development. And we also use these 8 stages of socio-cultural development, which is provided by the theories of the vertical development of people, organizations, territories, and the humanity itself. So that's the methodological basis. That's how it is. It looks like in terms of what aspects of development we are sort of researching during the survey, 3 levels, 12 aspects, 24 parameters. And what are we measuring? It's really important to understand what results the city or the organization or the person, the client who wants to take part in this diagnostics, what do we measure, what information do you receive? So again, as I told, we measure not only satisfaction, but also the degree of proactive engagement. Our survey is our questionnaire is formulated in the positive way. So people are sort of influenced to and inspired to think differently about the very issue of the city and the organizations and their role in these social systems. So just through filling in the survey, people told us that they started experiencing sort of inspiration and willingness to contribute. They realized that they really can make the difference through sort of answering these questions, which are so not questions, but statements with which we suggest them to agree or not. So we provide both quantitative and qualitative evaluation, because we have this sort of measurement in the percents, and we combine different information through different aspects of socio-cultural development. We also can find dissonances in the system if we have different discrepancies on the levels of development, or maybe some contradictions which people are showing through filling in the survey. We also look at internal and external dimensions. It's really important, not only personal perceptions, but also how people understand what is going on in the objective reality about their city, about the organization, community, about their personal life, for example. And through combining all these aspects, we can really see the picture of respondents' perception, which is also very important, because when we have this objective sort of surveys about some specific conditions which are created for people, we don't take into the consideration how they perceive and what they think about these conditions. And here we see how people feel, what's going on in their lives, what is created in the city, how they can sort of make the difference themselves. So as I mentioned, we started conducting this survey in Russia. 8 Russian cities in 2020 and 2021 took part in this survey. More than total amount of respondents was more than 12,000 respondents. We used the approach of 6 social groups or city voices, about which Marilyn Hamilton will tell you in the next presentation. We used her 4 voices, which are civil managers, citizens, innovators, and third sector, plus people, retired people, so elderly, and youth who maybe didn't recognize what voice is the most important for them, but they are sort of the voice of the future. And we used this number of keys and parameters. And now that's about the past, and that's the present. Now we are providing this survey in the Nottingham and Nottinghamshire. Living Cities Earth holds this survey in this area. And we are going to conduct the survey and engage about 4,000 people by the end of February. And the most important goal is to create a vibrant community of citizens, clear shared vision of the future, empower the identity of citizens, and engage them into co-creation for their ecosystem to which they belong, the city, the urban ecosystem. And so we will provide you more information later about the results of this survey in the United Kingdom. on what areas, so that's the last slide, on what areas the results of this survey can influence. Based on our case study and on the results of the surveys which were conducted in those cities which I mentioned, the results of the survey influence on the attractiveness of brand, both organizations, territories, or maybe leaders. It could be also important. Increase loyalty of people and support of the leader, either in the organization or, for example, the mayor or local administration. Reduce the number of conflicts, because people can find out how they can influence on the situation which is sort of takes place in the organization or in the social system, which we sort of where we have this research. Raise optimism. I also mentioned that throughout filling in the survey, you starting understand to understand that you really can make the difference. You can influence. These statements empower respondents to take their agency and start contributing to the development of the social system to which they belong. Reduce the brain drain, attract quality workforce, ensure inclusion of people who are motivated to develop and co-create and contribute to their territorial development, organizational development, and sort of inspire the creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurial thinking, because while we present the results of this survey, we usually conduct the strategic session with the city leaders, with the leaders of the organization, and with people who wanted sort of to be present when we provide the results of the survey, who want to contribute. And this is the next stage of empowerment citizens in order to take responsibility for their city and to co-create and to launch new projects together. And again, we had wonderful cases where people started collaborating with local authorities, launching their cross-sectoral collaborations and partnerships, and make some very useful projects for development of various sort of aspects and directions of their cities. So that's me, that's my sort of presentation. I would be happy to answer a couple of questions. We have about 1 or 2 minutes. So if you want to ask me something, I would be happy to answer. And thank you for your attention. Yes, Christian, hello. You're muted, please unmute yourself.
Hi. I'm not sure whether I missed out on something, but in what way do you conduct the surveys?
It is online questionnaire. So people answer the questions online, and the questionnaire is distributed in a very interesting way, because we share the links through the networks of these people. So it's about this sort of snowball distribution. So we share the links with the people who are interested in this development, and they share this link with the people with whom they work in their communities. So it is also one of the challenges and one of their measurement instruments, because we also can find out the depth of the social networking and the social connections in this organization, in these cities or in these organizations. We had a very interesting case when the local administration made the order everyone should fill in this survey, and we accepted absolutely horrible results. So people who were sort of urged to do it and who didn't want to, it was absolutely terrible results of their answers. But at the same time, people who inspired our communities and their communities and their organizations to collaborate, we presented it as their intellectual volunteering. So people are contributing, they are giving as a gift their time in order to answer on these online questions. And we had the wonderful results and great ideas, people who are engaged and who are willing to contribute and to further collaborate in these sort of cities or organizations.
Yeah, thank you. That answered my second question. How do you get people to fill it out? Right. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Different approaches, and
Yeah.
It's huge. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Okay, so we are running out of time, and I would like to hand over the mic to Marilyn Hamilton.